Welcome to Independent Venue Week. I'm Simone Marie, and I'm going to be chatting to some key figureheads in the music industry about independent venues, their journey, and their musical career. And I hope you enjoy them. Welcome to the Independent Venue Week's interviews. I'm joined now by the very marvellous Jason Williamson from Sleaford Mods. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Yeah, all right, my dear. Not too bad. How are you doing in all this at the moment?
I'm all right actually at the minute. You have dips, don't you? You go down, and then you kind of flat out for a bit, and then you pull yourself out of it.
Yeah.
And it goes like that, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, congratulations on the new album, by the way, as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
How has it been releasing an album when you can't really tour it? Because you're so great at doing the online stuff and different ways of promoting it.
Thank you. I don't know. It's well, I've like initially I was like, oh, it's a bit flat, but it's not really. You just got to make of it what you can. And because the response has been brilliant, it's kind of really lifted spirits. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's great. How have you found, I'm guessing you did it all in lockdown. Has it been easy for you to sort of stay creative and motivated when we're faced with all of this sort of stress and pressure and restrictions?
Yeah, it has, because it's a challenge, isn't it? It also gives you a completely new landscape to adapt to. So I really like that about it, and I like the kind of challenge it throws up, to what you do with your creative sort of venture with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Are you kind of happy to do things like this interview? If it wasn't for all this going on, we'd invite you down and we'd do it face to face and all that kind of stuff. How are you finding just doing everything remotely and just like being on a screen all the time?
I went through a real period of not liking it, and then you just come round again, don't you? Because what else have we got to play with? I think what does your head in about it is like if you've got a bad connection, or do you know what I mean? Or like if your laptop won't work, that just sends me into a spiral of fury, you know?
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I need like a laptop fixed, and of course, like Apple's closed. You just can't not being able to get stuff fixed at the moment.
Yeah, sure. I can imagine actually. Yeah,
but I mean first world problems, but
Yeah, first world problems, and you're also like looking at yourself like, God, I'm fucking sick of looking at yourself. Do you know what I mean? Though it's like you're just constantly looking at yourself, aren't you?
I don't want to watch myself talking.
No,
nobody needs that. Nobody needs that.
No, exactly. I think everyone feels the same, don't they? It's like.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of self-conscious at the best of times, but now it's sort of like skyrocketed, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Just to kind of touch on, the whole independent grassroots music venue. Yeah. How important was it when you were in your early days of gigging to play those really small, like sweaty little venues?
Massively important. Yeah. Well, they were the lifeline, really. Without those, without independent venues on a whole, you don't get the pioneers, do you? You don't get the advancement in music, because that's where it all comes from, the bottom, It doesn't necessarily come from the top. The top is more kind of cosmetic. It's more kind of unnatural. It's usually thrown together with an idea that has inspired someone from the bottom. Do you know what I mean? So you need these venues, and they are the romantic side of it, because anybody that truly loves it has got 5 or 6, pictures in their mind of bands that massively inspired them in really small venues. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The venue, to a certain degree, sometimes, arguably, is just as important as the snapshot in time of the band. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I think as soon as you get on a run of a tour and you start like seeing venues sort of getting bigger, or they're like quite, like you say, like landmark ones, like say Rock City or anything like that, sometimes these venues have been around longer than the bands that have played them, and they've kind of got this legendary status, and it almost changes your performance. You do that night, in a way.
Yeah, it's daunting, isn't it? It's quite daunting. You've got to fill this place with the same energy that your predecessors have. You know, it's quite daunting. But at the same time, they are instrumental in the whole idea why a lot of people get into it, why you got into it, why I got into it. You know.
Yeah.
I would imagine that, you know, no disrespect, but anybody from, you know, any of these massive boy bands or whatever probably weren't inspired in that way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Do you have any kind of standout memories from those like really early days of like shows?
I don't know really. I mean, fucking hell, loads, but not standard. They're all the same, really. I think more European. Like we kicked off in Europe before we did in the UK, so. You know, some of these like tours that we did over there in some of the more renowned sort of independent venues over there really kind of stick with you. Most notably because of the hangovers and because of the shock of touring on you know, on a mind that has not been confronted with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it does take a while to get like, I don't know, what do you say, touring colours, or just get into the mindset that you know is going to get you through it. Like, you know, then you know what you're up against.
It's destroyed many a good person, hasn't it, really? You know what I mean? It's like it will just chew you up and spit you out. So you've got to make some harsh decisions, I think, early on. But yeah, I mean, again, in England, I mean, across the board, there isn't one that truly stands out. I think those first 2 or 3 years of our career were really, as I said last night, nothing else stands up to that. As much as this carries on and we seem to be getting bigger as a band, me and Andrew, those first 2 or 3 years were just untouchable. You know what I mean?
That's amazing. Really. What were some of the bands that like you personally were going to watch at that time?
Didn't watch anybody. I was never really into going to gigs because I always used to get just pissed off that I wasn't doing it. Yeah, I got a really bit of a weird mentality like that.
Yeah.
So I never really went to gigs that much. So I don't know. You know, I mean, when we started kicking off, I still didn't go to any really. It's a weird one.
No, it's good. It's interesting to kind of, you know, to know like how it was for you, really. I mean, the thing is with Sleaford Mods is like you don't sound like anyone, and there aren't really other bands that sound like you. You know, I don't mean like, you know, I'm not brown nosing you, but that's kind of the way it is. And you know, although you're a few albums in, it's like you still sound like Sleaford Mods as ever. It's not like, you know, you did the first 2 albums like that, and now you've suddenly gone and changed and gone all super electronic.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it's really integral to you. Like, are there any artists that have sort of informed your sound?
Just, I would say across the board, just like UK grime and drill. I mean, with Andrew, I mean, God knows, he listens to so much stuff, but it just changes every now and again. You know, he might not listen to anything for a year, really. But, you know, he kind of ventures to kind of anything from mid-90s hip-hop to God knows what, some bizarre stuff he's listening to that I just wouldn't even enter onto my register, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me, I constantly check new videos from whatever, Grind Daily, constantly looking at people putting out stuff. Don't necessarily listen to whole albums. I just study the flow and also the production of the tunes and the mood of it. And then I'll go on and listen to an American rapper for a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like that. And, you know, that is pretty much what I do, you know. And I'm in and out with that. Singer-songwriters I'll listen to for a little bit. I've been doing more of that over the last year and getting more into playing guitar because lockdown, do you know what I mean?
Oh, wow, brilliant.
So, but I mean, the thing is, it's like, you know, when you do an album and people are like, what were you listening to? And it's like, well, nothing.
No, you don't, do you? Otherwise you end up like subconsciously writing the same songs.
Yeah. And it's like, I haven't listened to anything for like 6 months. I've just gone off music, but I love making music because, as you well know, the tools are there in your head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I saw you put some dates together for November, so that's really cool. You know, just focusing on something in the future, because it's hard to plan. Like, I suppose us as music people, types, whatever, it's try and think like a year ahead of yourself in a way, or
Yeah.
you can't just suddenly pull a tour out of your ass. You've got to be planning that for months and months in advance. So
yeah. So yeah, we've got one at the end of the year. We've got another announcement next Monday for a European tour. You know, all of that will be happening this year, I hope. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Heard that there's no Glasgow, which isn't really a massive surprise, but it's still.
I thought that was like a bit rich, really. I was like, no way.
I mean, the thing is, like, can't even, you know, go to a pub, let alone a crowd of fucking 250,000 people. So
is it? Unless he's like got a direct line to number 10, which I thought he might have. You know what I mean? But,
oh God, what a thought.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think I heard there was talk about. I don't want to say anything out loud, but I heard there was talk about it being like an online event, which is a bit of a weird one for me. Like, how do you feel about things transitioning to just being online? It's not the same, but I guess it's all we can do at the moment, isn't it?
I think, you know, if that would, I guess, would be probably quite a good idea. At least it would lift people's spirits a bit, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, streaming gigs, we really enjoyed ours. It was brilliant. We went back to the 100 Club and we got a history there. It's obviously full of history anyway. And we really enjoyed it. It was brilliant. And everybody that watched it, I felt great the next day.
I loved that show. Some of the streams when, you know, because it's a bit of an art form doing the streams. Everyone's new and all that. And I just thought that was really well done. You know, I think maybe because there's two of you, you could really get the sense of almost being in the same room. I don't know. It was good.
But I think, you know, even to do this Glasgow thing, might just tip up and there'd be dressing rooms there, and there might be someone you'd be able to talk to, you know what I mean? Just to be able to communicate with somebody else.
So Joe Wiley interviewing the cleaner or something, I don't know.
It would just be all right. I mean, we've just been into town and we've just seen people, like, you know, we ain't seen for ages, and it's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Just communication, you know.
I know, right? I mean, I never would have thought that my social life is going to consist of going to Sainsbury's, but it is.
Isn't it though? Isn't it?
But, you know, I really like things like this. It's like, before you'd be like, why, you know, if you call someone or whatever, it's okay. And then messaging somebody going, oh, do you want to do a Zoom? I'd be like, no. But now you're kind of like, well, yeah. It's a nice interaction.
Do you do a lot of that with your friends then? Talk on Zoom?
Not so much. I talk to my friends on the phone, really.
Yeah.
Some do, but because I've been doing these interviews and some other pieces and presenting, I've been doing it like that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, have you been doing? Is it changed the way you know, record if you haven't been able to sort of see Andrew? Or
no, it was strictly business as usual, really.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, like, the first day was a bit odd because everybody was like a bit masks on, and then we just eased into it. Do you know what I mean? And then it just went. So it was. We normally record like that anyway, you know. So it wasn't any big difference really. Yeah.
Also, I was going to say the one thing with Sleaford's is just the density of the lyrical content. I remember I was watching you at Hammersmith Odeon. Oh, that's the old school name for it. Whatever it's called now, the Apollo.
Event.
Corporate thing, yeah. And I just thought, I can't really get my head around how you can, like, remember every single lyric. Only because it's not what I do, but it's like it's so much, you know. Do you ever forget any lyrics or? Yeah,
sometimes. But we luckily had come off a busy year. Your brain's like geared up for, you've got that muscle memory going. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you kind of remember. But if I do forget these days, I don't panic about it. I just stop the song. Do you know what I mean? Or what I used to do was make out there was a fight in the audience, and then and then stop the song. I did that in Manchester once. Sorry, Manchester. And like, some bloke was going, "There's no fight. What are you on about?" And I was like, "Shut the fuck up."
There's going to be so many bands that are going to be watching going, fucking brilliant. You can't really do it in a socially distance. No. Everyone's sitting 2 meters.
Yeah, I think if you rehearse solidly for like, like 3 weeks, 4 weeks,
yeah,
you get the songs in your head. Providing you go out and tour pretty much straight away, you don't forget it.
Yeah, true.
It's a wonderful, beautiful thing, the brain, isn't it? You know, it's unbelievable. It's like
a wonderful bastard.
Isn't it? You know what I mean?
Are you? I mean, you've done like the grammar wankers thing and all this stuff. Like, you're clearly a writer and a thinker and observer. Do you write all the time, or do you kind of go, right, this is a writing day, or are you just always writing things down?
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, I think I like writing lyrics and articles, perhaps, but I tried the sort of short story thing, and they're shocking, really, in retrospect. They're fucking shocking. And I know, like, you shouldn't be saying that because, but they not for me. I think I won't be going back there. But anything else, I don't mind doing. I quite enjoy it. But yeah, I normally just put it on my phone, occasionally, and then there might be a spat where I do it for an hour.
Yeah.
But when it comes to recording an album, I've usually got a loose frame of lyrics for each idea that I've done on the spot.
Okay.
And then when you get in the studio, I find that it helps when you're under pressure. They just all come out, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like the perfect political backdrop at the moment, isn't it? To be, for someone like yourself. And I mean, clearly the new album reflects that. It's just so brutally honest. Like, I think people who can't have that kind of voice, it's like you're speaking for everyone, really.
Well, I mean, that's really nice of you. Thank you. I think, I don't know, you just write them because it just pisses you off, doesn't it? It's just incredible. Yeah. I think I'm past the age now where I'm like, oh, poor me, or talking about, relationships or whatever. I think there's, why? I mean, I know I can see where there is appeal in that, of course, but that just didn't work for me. And so when I stumbled across this, I found that this meant more to me to talk about the outside. And it just so happens that for the last 10 years, it's been laced with right-wing misery, hasn't it? You know what I mean?
Basically, yeah. I think, it's just, you kind of capture it in a really, I don't know, brutally honest way. It's, I think it's great. So when we can play in a venue, do you have any kind of favorite places, favorite venues that you really look forward to playing at?
I like Bristol O2, funnily enough. That's really nice. I don't know why. I think Bristol's lovely. I like going to Bristol. I like them all. I'm not too keen on O2s as a thing, but they're not really independent, are they? No. Apart from that, I don't know. They're all good. Yeah, every one of them. Do you know what I mean? I should be saying some independent venues here, shouldn't I?
No, you don't have to at all. It's not about that. Yeah, it's for IBW, but it's about you. It's not. You don't have to be all about grassroots venues. It's
Yeah, I love O2s. Yeah, you can honest talk about O2s.
Hi, is that, they're free. Yeah, they can do a month-long residency show. Bit of sponsorship. Why not? Just to kind of finish up a little bit, you're very good at doing the whole collaboration thing. You work with Billy No Mates, her and Amy from Amyl and the Sniffers. I was going to call them Amyl and the Nitrates, but Amyl and the Sniffers.
Same thing, isn't it? I think that's
exactly. But we all know what it's about.
Yes.
Have you got any other people still left that you want to collaborate with that you haven't yet?
No, I don't know. Whatever. If anyone asks and it's interesting, I think you just do it. I just do it anyway. I like kind of the process of it and learning from other people. Yeah. And being in someone else's space, and watching them figure out a melody or a bass line or whatever is really interesting. And, you know, you do pick up little bits. So I like it for that. But whatever, you know, and it's not even a networking thing. It's more a whatever, you know, whatever. I go from people that aren't signed to people that are signed or whatever, you know, just whatever seems interesting. I think, and these days you can do that. You can get away with it, I think. I don't think it's a case of overexposing yourself either. You know, it's like, who cares? You know what I mean? It's like, fuck it.
Yeah, just whatever is interesting and works, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Cool. Just quickly, how is Andrew doing? Is he all right?
Yeah, he's wicked. I got him doing the listening party last night, and he was really happy about that. It was, oh, it goes quick, doesn't it? I'm like, yeah, big time.
It's really, have you listened back to the album like that since you recorded it? Or once
I stopped listening to it. And then I started again when all the good reviews came out.
It's quite good.
I'm so shallow. Like, oh, it's really good. Yeah, it's really good, isn't it? You know, like September, like, fucking shit. Fucking shit.
No, but does it give you like fresh ears, so to speak? Like or maybe yeah.
When someone goes, oh, blah, blah, blah was brilliant, and you put it on, you go, yeah, it's fucking brilliant. They're right. They're really on.
I man, you should be proud of it. It's fucking great. But,
no, it is good, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. What made you name it Spare Ribs? I guess because it's taken from one of the tracks, but
just on the angle of like, we just all feel like a bit like spare ribs at the minute, don't we? You know, it feels like the government are just playing with us, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter if they die, we'll be all right. You know, we can still carry on, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all right, don't worry. You know, I mean, the fact that Priti Patel would not answer the question yesterday as regards the death rate in this country, it's just incredible and really, really, really enraging. So I thought it was quite an apt idea, you know, sort of surreal type thing to seal the album with, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the sheer denial is bewildering, isn't it? You know, they're still himself. I'm dealing with it in the best way possible, and we've got the highest death rate. It's kind of like it's beyond gaslighting now. It's just kind of like it's really hard. It's really hard to see it all on social media as well because that gives you so much rage. And like when lockdown started, I think online and social media was a kind of sort of comfort where people were trying to support each other, and now it's just like a bin, you know.
Yeah, it's crap. It's fucking horrible. I think I'm hoping that because things are moving so fast at the minute, people haven't got time to corner them. But I think when this is over, I think at least their reputations will be in ruins. They'll be in ruins. They've got to be, you know, because I think there's going to be a massive awakening at some point. Do you know what I mean? And
definitely heading towards that.
Yeah, they'll be fighting in the corner.
Definitely. Because I think it's not until things affect people personally where they go, oh shit, maybe we shouldn't have voted Brexit. I can't get my favourite wine or my favourite cheese. It's affecting me on Earth, you know.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, look, thank you so much for joining us, man. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I wish you mega success with the new album. I know it'll be great. And lots of luck with your life.
Yeah, take care. All right.
All right. Big love, man. See ya.
See you later. Bye.